So welcome everyone, and I'm excited to have you here today. I'm excited to have Andrew and Catherine today as well. And today we're going to talk about a super interesting topic that I care a lot about, mainly because I don't know almost nothing about it, which is how to write and create UX for videos. So we have many products out there that are really great, and what they're doing really good is to use video and to increase the user experience of the product. For example, we have a company named Monday.com, for example. So they use videos not only to help users to use their app better, but also to share visions with their team members and to share vision with their designers about how they envision the product. So that's one way to use video. We have also Webflow that are doing amazing job with their Webflow Academy, since it's a very complicated product and the learning curve is extremely, it's really difficult to learn Webflow. So they have the Webflow Academy, and their videos are scripted in an amazing way. And I've been trying to wrap my head around videos for a while now. And today we're fortunate to have Andrew and Catherine that will tell us about how they are doing that, and how they're doing content strategy and UX for their company. And that's about it. So if you have any question, feel free to write it in the Q&A right here. And Andrea and Catherine, you can take it away.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Yuval.
No problem.
Hi, everybody. My name is Catherine. I'm going to start off this presentation today with Andrew just giving a little bit of an introduction, and then we'll kind of get into the nitty-gritty here. I would love to answer any questions that y'all have about UX writing or video, either in the chat or find me on LinkedIn afterwards, whatever you're most comfortable with. So Andrew, you want to start off here?
Definitely. First of all, it's just a pleasure to be here today and to talk about this. I love talking about UX writing, video creation, and the same thing goes for me. Feel free to reach out to me in the Q&A here at the end, or also on LinkedIn. I'm just such a nerd about this stuff, so I'd love to talk about it as much as possible. But a little bit about my background. For anyone who doesn't have a background in tech, who's watching this or interested in it, just let it be known that you can do this job, because I did not have a background in tech before becoming a UX content strategist here 2 years ago. I joined in August 2018, but my background is actually in journalism. I went to school at the University of Missouri, a school of journalism, wanted to be a journalist since I was a high school student. Did sports journalism for about 10 years, did a lot of different things. And I always thought I was going to be a journalist, but the industry here in America is pretty tough. And so I just wanted a lifestyle change and was looking for new things to do. And I still wanted to write and create because that was my passion. I just loved that aspect of just creation and being a creator of some kind. So a friend of mine who's a product manager here told me about a UX content strategist opening here and just said, you should apply. It's great. You know, this company's fun. And I didn't really even know what UX meant. I think I had to Google UX. So that's how base level I was at the time, but I was very fortunate to end up here and to just learn about this field. So just let that to be a lesson. If you just don't know much about UX content strategy or anything, you can do this job and you can excel in it. So it's a lot of fun. But actually began my interest in audio and video in my last media job. I worked as kind of a content producer who helped with Facebook webcasts, like live Facebook shows. And so I handled the sound on that. And then I also created assets like visuals and different animations for the show. And so that was my first experience with it, actually. And that happened after a layoff in another media job. So it's interesting how different things in life lead to different paths. And so you just never know where things can lead. So I always wonder, if I didn't have that experience with that last media job, like working in video and live webcasts and things like that, if I'd be doing this right now at this company, because I had that ground level knowledge from that experience and brought it over here. So it's really interesting how it all began, and just know to take advantage of every opportunity you can get. So, and then my free time, I just enjoy sports and wine slushies and hiking in the Georgia mountains. It's a beautiful area out here in Atlanta. I like to spend time outside as much as possible, especially during this era where we're cooped up inside so much here in America, at least. So yeah, those are my hobbies, and I'm super happy to be here today and talk to you.
And I am Catherine. I am the UX content director here at CallRail. I studied English and professional writing when I was in college, which I graduated in 2012 with an English degree, minored in professional writing. My background is also not in tech. Prior to joining CallRail back in 2014, I managed salon and spas all throughout the Atlanta area. I started at CallRail as a customer support specialist. At the time, there were like 5 employees at CallRail. So I came on board pretty early in the process. I was like their second support agent on the team. And when I joined the team, one of the biggest opportunities that I saw in talking to customers directly every single day was taking their feedback and actually, creating actionable change in our application, in our support docs, and things like that. And I knew that my skills with like professional writing and editing could help create these self-serve resources to get people on board with CallRail faster, to learn our product, and to help themselves so that they're not having to continually contact us in order to get what they need to get their job done. And just for some context, I know many people aren't familiar with CallRail. We're a tool for marketers and SMBs. We help track and manage your leads generated from like online and offline marketing campaigns. So we'll track things like when somebody calls a phone number on your website, we can tell you like how they found you online. Maybe they clicked on a Facebook ad or a Google ad or something like that. And then they came to your website and they called your phone number, and then you can kind of tie a value to that customer. How much is it costing me to acquire them in my marketing channels? Is there opportunity for me to change what I'm doing to get like more high value customers, or to like optimize the marketing campaigns that I'm running? We primarily service SMBs. So there's a little bit of a learning curve for our customers who maybe aren't familiar with a bunch of like marketing jargon or things like that before they come on board with CallRail. And being exposed to that on the support team taught me like we have to figure out the simplest way to drill down into these kind of like heavy technical concepts, and make it easier for people to adopt our product. So though I left the support team in 2015, I spent a full year just kind of taking in everything I could about UX. I attended conferences. I used Medium as like a college resource to like learn everything that I could about UX writing and how content played into the entire user experience process. And I found groups like this, like where people were actively networking with one another to learn more from leaders in our industry. So 2016 was when the team was like officially just more than me. We had our first hire. And we're a team of 5 now, which is super awesome. In the grand scheme of things, over time, CallRail has grown to close to 200 employees, and now we have a 5-person team for content. So it's super exciting. And I want to talk about how video fits into this whole narrative of user experience. So as a support specialist, I heard just about like every roadblock that somebody faced when using our software. People wanted to learn about our product, they wanted to master it, and they also wanted to go out and talk to other people about CallRail, which was amazing. Like that's like the best thing ever, is that other people's want to go out and evangelize, CallRail with their teams and the people that they network with. So I knew there was an opportunity to be like this self-serve resource for our customers and the people that they wanted to work with, but we had to figure out a way to cater to all types of different learning styles, and how can we like quickly and effectively help people get up and running. And support documents are great, and going into the actual product itself and in our application and changing content to be more directive and more simple, and to break down these concepts for people, like those were all really great things that we had to do. But we also needed to do more to cater to the people who didn't want to read heavy documentation, or who was just going to gloss over our content in order to get something done. So we took a look at our industry. This was probably around like 2017, 2018. And we tried to figure out like what could we learn from other brands, and how was video changing the way that people adopted products. And this is what we found. 79% of people would rather learn about a product through video over than reading documentation. And this was something that we heard all throughout in our interviews, talking to people, like when you are setting up something for the first time, even if it's CallRail, if it's not CallRail, what do you do to learn how to use something new in your life? And all these people were like, I never want to read a document about anything. I only want to watch a video because I want to be able to skip through it and just pull out the important pieces and self-select and self-serve and figure out what I want out of this experience right now. And that kind of like goes hand in hand with the second bullet point here. Only 20% of people who come to our site or our website is going to read a document, but 80% are willing to watch a video. And then we saw there's another company, and I'm so sorry, I can't remember their name off the top of my head right now, but I have them linked in the resource section of this slide deck. They actually did a large scale usability test to determine like how valuable video is for like product pages. And they found that 41% of people interacted or used a video when it was actually on a product page. So we had really good data and from our industry, and we had people to look at, like Wistia. They're a great example. They're also the video hosting platform that we use, but you know, Wistia was really like showcasing their work in a way that we were like, we should absolutely be doing something like this for CallRail. And at the time, all we knew was what our data was saying. You know, we were kind of green. We were still trying to figure this out. And what we had at our disposal was that 26% of people who visited our support site were still contacting our support team after going through our documentation. I have pulled numbers in the past and kind of like studied what other companies in the tech industry look for when it comes to like how many people should be contacting your support team after interacting with your product. And typically you want to have that number right at about like 14%. So we had our work cut out for us to get that number down. We also took a look at what our users were saying. So these are real quotes that I went and pulled from our customer emails from like 2015, 2016. You can see people were very nicely asking us for these resources. They were trying to tell us that like, I look at you guys as professionals. I think that you could help me learn this. Can you spin up something for me so that I can learn more about CallRail? So pull here. I love this quote, and I think that this actually ties like in super well with what we were looking at. People were looking at us as a resource, and they said like, you guys have created this product, excuse me. You're talking about it. You're going to teach me about it. And I would love to be able to consume like the knowledge that I need to use your platform in a way that like makes sense to me. And I've linked this article here, and it's all about like video experience and how does video tie into UX. I highly recommend going and checking it out. But this was just a super great quote I found. Video is a continuum embedded in the customer journey, and it's a way to talk to your customers. And it's a new channel to talk through, to talk to your customers through. Thus, video was born on the UX content team. And we had to start somewhere, right? So this is kind of like, how are we using principles of UX writing and things that we're doing in our normal like day-to-day role and responsibility to make this happen? So we had to obviously start with some research. We needed decent tools and equipment, and Wistia was like astronomical in helping us get off the board. They have really great resources on their website that actually links you out to like packages you can buy that has like this little camera set up over here that you see. So this is actually what Andrew uses. It's sitting over at his desk. It's how we record like our teammates that help us out with videos and stuff like that when we add this like human element to our product videos. That link is at the end of this slide deck as well, in case you're interested. They actually have two separate kits that they have put together. One is a more cost effective than the other, but it links you out to Amazon, and you can buy all of your stuff through Amazon or some independent like camera companies out of New York City. The other thing that we had to do, or excuse me, the other thing that we knew we could do with video was empowering team members with continuing education opportunities. So this is something that lends itself to like the culture here that we wanted to create. So we got Andrew into like Adobe classes so he could learn more about video editing and like animation and stuff that he felt he needed, to learn more about to be good at his job. The other thing we had to do, and especially in light of COVID-19, was we had to be prepared to pivot. At this like unique moment in time, CallRail has not stopped releasing products. We haven't stopped shipping, new features to our customers. But we're not, in the office with one another, like being able to pull out this camera set and take videos and talk to people and use these real life examples to talk to our customers. So, we had to be prepared, and I'll get into that a little bit more in a second, to pivot with that so that we can still keep up with the needs of the business and educate our customers as we release stuff. And we also had to keep track of our metrics and iterate, which just like any like UX team has to do, you have to pay attention to the things, look at your engagement, figure out what's working and what's not, and take the time to go back and fix the things that aren't working for your customers. And what we have learned over the past 2 years since Andrew has really taken off with this project, he has taken us from 0 videos to 52 videos across our support site and our application. And he has done numerous versions of those 52 videos as we have grown and expanded as a company. We have gathered more than 45,000 total unique plays across all of our videos, which is incredible when you think about the number of people who know and use CallRail. We primarily service SMBs, so this number is really telling. It's really incredible that we've had 45,000 total unique plays. Right now, we're averaging about 10,000 unique views per quarter, which is amazing. And organizationally, the impact has helped us decrease support ticket volume by 9%. So we are getting closer and closer to our benchmark goal of 14%. So we're hovering at 16% right now, and we're almost there. And I have full confidence that we are going to get there. But it also gave Andrew a chance to like flex his muscle with like style guides and things like that. It's his first time being on a UX team, and style guides, as we know, are super important to helping keep like your brand consistent throughout your entire organization. So he got firsthand experience building out a style guide for video, helping people understand like, how do you level out audio? What does CallRail sound like? Do you want to create music, for CallRail? Like, you could do that, and it should look like this, and it should sound like this. And it helps people outside of product and UX contribute, and it contributes to the entire brand experience. So people know that when they're watching videos from CallRail, it's not necessarily something that is there to sell them something. It's something that's there to help them get their job done, to empower them to move forward with their day, and work with their team more effectively. So the first thing we did, like I said, starting with research, we had to use analytics tools. So we use Google Analytics every single month, and we take a look at those things. Andrew, if you want to expand on that in a second, I'll let you expand on what you look for in Google Analytics. But Wistia, as I mentioned before, Wistia is our video hosting platform. They are awesome. And they have their own like analytics section in their platform that kind of measures like your audience engagement. So we use that a lot. You can kind of see where people will drop off from videos. And we use that information to go back and like tweak those sections of our video content to make it better for our customers, so we hopefully don't see the drop off continue to happen there. We also keep up with all of the support tickets. It's something that like I read through every single day, all day long. We specifically look at like, what are our customers reaching out to us about? What do they need help with? What patterns are we identifying here that they are, what tasks are we finding that people are unable to complete, and what are the patterns there with that? We also have stakeholder interviews, and what that is just like working with our customer facing team members, asking them what they come across most often as problems with our customers, You know, we come prepared with some theories about things that we think is happening, and we ask them to validate those or to offer like an alternative way to look at it if maybe we're missing the mark. And then we ask them, like, what does video look like to you? Like, if you could have something that would empower your customer to like take care of this on their own, what does that look like? How does it help you? How does it help your team? You know, if they're managing people, how does it help your team? And then how does it help like your product marketing team launch new features and tools to our customers? So it makes a big impact all across the board. And as we all know, with UX writing, the most important thing that we come up against in our job is telling the right story at the right time. So your script is key. And as we write our scripts for videos, we're trying to remember that we are trying to be engaging. We're trying to create these conversational scripts, and this whole, you know, concept of like surprise, delight, and then get out of the way. So we don't want to like overtake, you know, the app with a video and, you know, prevent them from completing a task that they're trying to take care of. But we give them the option to like learn more through this video. And it's a way of like interjecting ourselves and then getting out of their way and giving them the option to move forward without us standing in their way. And it's a great way for us to simplify this process for them. We've also seen that it encourages further familiarity with our team and brand ecosystem. So I'd love to introduce y'all here on the right side of the page. This is Rebecca. Rebecca is a member of our sales team, and she has been our #1 volunteer for video hosting. And she has become so well known amongst our customers as the host of these videos that when she actually talks to people, they're like, "Oh my gosh, you're the girl from the video." So it's been really incredible to like see people connect with her as the face to all of these like instructional videos that they're watching to get set up with CallRail. And it also reminds them that they're within our brand ecosystem, that this is a space for them where they're amongst professionals who know everything that they need to get their job done. And that all lends itself to this like being consistent, being helpful, and being human, that we try to work so much into our jobs as UX writers. You know, we try to humanize this experience for our customers because we want them to complete a task and to feel like they are empowered to do something, that we're there to like be the caboose to the parade to help them across the finish line. And what I love about this, and it shows with Rebecca, is like this human element of like showing a face when you're actually talking about like going through like step-by-step instructions on something, or being like, hey, we moved this feature over here and we think you're going to love it. We also did this really cool thing. And we had to pivot a little bit with COVID-19. You know, Andrew can't film Rebecca right now. So people being familiar with Rebecca, what we did was we have like this screen now, you know, so our videos were normally, it would have been like, "Hi, I'm Rebecca from CallRail," and it would be her talking. So now we have her picture here and people know Rebecca is still here to help me get my job done.
Yeah, Rebecca's amazing. And I'd just like to add to that where, like, you know, video creation allows you to connect with so many different areas of the company. Rebecca's in sales. I've worked with support team members, fielding needs or questions related to videos I've made even. So I've made edits that way. And then, you know, people on my team too. We just have such a great culture of collaboration. It's so much fun just to have so many people involved with this process. And it feels like a great team effort. And I think everyone just feels like a part of that success then when, you know, this thing gets built out and grows over time. And yeah, I just have such a great chemistry with everyone I've worked with related to this video project. And that's one of the most rewarding things for me anyway, is how many people played a part in it. So yeah. Well, I'm going to touch a little bit on creating a style guide for this and how we created some norms and just guidelines as we got bigger. I would say the first few months of this, it was just a matter of trying to figure it out and like, you know, create a few videos and prove that we can do this. And as we got bigger and over time became more mature with our processes, we're like, okay, now we need some guidelines. We need to start creating a video style guide. And Catherine, of course, has a great style guide for everything else within our app, but I added some video guides guidelines too. And I made a personal project to try to do this each quarter. Like it's almost like a living learning document where every quarter I look back and say like, okay, what worked, what didn't, or whatever. So I'll like take things out sometimes, or I'll add things in. So it's really cool. That's kind of a living document that way. But I'd say overall, like it's important to follow your product standards and brand guidelines. You don't want to be out and creating things that are inconsistent with who you are as a company and what your goals are. So I'm very careful to follow like what colors we use within our app and on our marketing website, things of that nature. And then just design patterns. I use some assets that we use within our app, within our videos as well. There's like a file within Figma that our UI experts made that I'm able to then take those images and brand assets and then put them within my Adobe products and build videos with those same things. So that's really cool that there's a lot of collaboration that way. And so we can stay consistent from just what customers experience within our app to what they see on our support side and see within the videos as well. So, and just like I mentioned earlier, updating things regularly as you learn what works. It's a constant learning process for me. I've been doing this almost, a year and a half now on the video side, I'd say, and I'm still learning stuff with each new project and growing along the way. And there's still a lot of room for me to grow too. So it's really cool to know that you can just edit things and evolve and share your knowledge as you grow with everything. So I think that's one of the most rewarding parts of this video creation for me. And also in creating a style guide, like I mentioned earlier, you really have to be mindful of design considerations, things like screen resolutions. You want to be like the right HD perspective, and you don't want to have like black bars on the top and bottom of your videos, things like that, stuff I never even thought about before starting this project. I did a lot of reading into the technical things, and it's really fascinating to learn about. Just you want to have the right resolution with your videos, and you want to make sure it fits within the app, within our player the right way, and it looks like a good experience. So things we think about as UX writers, just about a good user experience with the content we create, how it looks within the UI. I'm doing the same thing when it comes to video creation too. I want this to look good if it's within a player, within our app. I don't want it to look bad. I want it to be a clean experience. So I'm keeping those same things in mind when I'm creating videos as I am when I'm doing microcopy or other design considerations as well. And then also just reading patterns as well. You want to take that in mind. The F-shape way people read things, you want to keep that in mind as you're designing videos as well. And so, it's very important to keep all those things in mind. And then something that I'd stress that we could be better at is captions too, and they help with accessibility. We do some of that, but it's a very time-consuming process, so we haven't done as much as I would like, and that's something that we could definitely grow within in the future. But it's very important, I think, as more people are watching videos while they're working or, just kind of like glancing through things and don't have a speaker or something. I think it is important to have a way for them to like read what's being said in the voiceover or on screen if Rebecca's talking or someone like that. So that's an area I think we can improve in our video project as we move forward. Maybe in the future, if we have more manpower, more resources, is just creating captions within our videos more consistently. And then it's also important to consider possible modular content so you can make your life a little easier as you scale out this project and create more videos. At the beginning of this, I started creating like go to our help center at the end of each video if you need more information about this topic or something like that. And that's something we still have within our videos to this day. And it's just like a consistent ending point for everything where it just guides the user to this other resource if they need to learn more about whatever they watched about. So that's a piece of modular content we have. I also have a pattern with each video where we have like that introduction with Rebecca. So it's consistent throughout all 50 some videos that we have, and each one that she appears where, she's giving an introduction at the beginning, and then at the end of each video, we have her voiceover with go to the CallRail's help center, you get more information about this topic or any other questions you have. So yeah, it's definitely important to consider modular content as you to scale things out, to make things consistent and to like plug and play those pieces of the video as you build things out.
Yeah, and that will save you a ton of time too.
Yeah, definitely. Saving time is always good. Yeah, that's a great thing. Yeah, and this is one of my favorite parts of the job, actually, is like using data to inform video decisions. And I think this is something that it's good to keep in mind as a writer too, just using data to inform like your content decisions. But on the video side, it's super fun to me to go into our engagement metrics. I live within the Wistia view stream is what it's called. And this is the screenshot here is an example of that, where I kind of study what people are watching each day, how much of the video they're watching. If they're rewatching anything, it'll show up within those different colors there you see, like I think it's like a dark yellow and then a kind of darker orange there is if they like watch something for a second or a third time. So it's like, you can see like how often they go through a video, and you actually learn some UX discoveries that way. I've learned with one video where people are just having trouble finding like the create number button within our app is like in the global nav and left side of the screen. And so you had to click on the global nav to get to this create number button. And so like a lot of the videos that were showing people how to create a phone number app, they were stopping after just finding that little button. So you'd see people like rewatch the video to that point where they needed to find the button, and then they would stop like, oh, I found what I needed. You know, that's where I go to create the number. So you really do find some interesting like behavioral patterns by studying the video metrics and seeing how customers are interacting with your videos, because they will tell you a story, as anyone who's done UX research before or gone through studying how people are interacting with your app. You know, you'll definitely learn a lot of different things. So it's the same thing with video too. And as far as average engagement, this is straight from Wistia, but we try to aim for around 50% average engagement. You'll see the stat there at the top is around 53% for this create offline tracking number video. But with how-to videos, and it's very rare for anyone to watch straight like from beginning to end. You know, they're mostly scanning and searching for what they need to find within the app, and then they'll watch that particular part to complete that task or whatever. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. We're trying to shoot for about 50% average engagement on most of our videos. We don't always hit it, but it's definitely interesting to learn and study these engagement metrics to see what people are watching, if they're rewatching anything, and then we can tailor videos and maybe like even break them out into a separate video if we notice like one particular part is being watched a lot. So you can definitely do a lot of things if you just study what your customers are telling you with these metrics. And this is also another fun part of my job, just diving into Google Analytics. I actually started using Google Analytics in a media job where I look at like live page view counts and study how people were clicking on things on Facebook and things like that. So I became like a Google Analytics nerd before starting this job, but it's carried over with the video project here, and it's super fun just to see on our support site, you know, which support articles are being read for a particular time. Like I'll usually break things down by, you know, 2 or 3 months and see like, oh, okay, over that 2 or 3 month span, which support articles are most popular with our customers right now. Then I'll go through the list of you know, the page view totals and see, okay, do we have a video on this support article? Do we have one here? And it became a goal of mine actually late last year to have a video presence within our top 20 most read support articles just over throughout the past year. I went out that far with the date range, and we got to that point. So that was kind of a cool achievement that I was pretty proud of, that we had a video presence on our support articles that were read the most, at least the 20 most popular. So yeah, I still go into Google Analytics definitely a few times a week, and I'm looking at what most recently is being read on our support site and which questions our customers have about particular things. And now at this point, like we've scaled it out where most of the popular support articles have at least one video, maybe two. I don't think we have more than 2 on each support article now, maybe 3 is on a few, but we try to be pretty I don't know, have a light load of videos within our support articles for the most part. But yeah, I just love going through Google Analytics and seeing what our customers are reading at the moment, and then trying to find video needs within that story that they're trying to tell us, because you know, you'll definitely pick up on certain articles that are just consistently read the most month after month, and you definitely want to have a video presence there to assist the visual learners out there, and we've definitely learned that pays off with the numbers.
Yeah, and I just want to add to, like, you know, some of the process with video at CallRail has been kind of like a test and iterate, and the metrics that we can bring to the table, like the stuff that Andrew brings to the table with metrics allows me to go have conversations with product managers, you know, when they're creating things that they know is going to be a big product launch or it's going to be a big change for our users. Because we've been able to validate how well video works on the support site, it makes it easier for me to make a case to get Andrew involved to have videos for launches for something. So it's helped like bolster our launch strategy as we build new stuff for our customers.
Yeah, we've worked on a few recent projects with that anyway, and it's been really fun to have video be at the forefront of introducing something to a customer. And we have those videos appear with our app then when we're introducing the product, like try out our new product, and we'll have a video option within that announcement within the app. So that's pretty fun to be a part of for sure. And so, yeah, we've touched on this a little bit, but with video, as well with a lot of things with UX writing, and just be ready to move on and iterate later. Like written content, this is an evolving process with video. You can change things as you learn things to better serve customers. And I love showing this picture because this was created when we first got the camera in our office. I started fiddling around with it, and I could not figure out how to get that square and that f4.0 off the digital output. And so I just made a goofy face. I'm like, I'm going to screenshot this, keep this as a reminder of like the first steps of this video project. So this was taken in February 2019 in our office here. I spent probably like way too much time, but like it'd be scary to admit, maybe 4 hours or more trying to figure out how to take off that digital output and make it a clean output so you can have videos filmed. But yeah, it just reminds me of how much we've grown and how much we've iterated over time and how much we've changed things as we've learned what works and what doesn't. And it's super fun to look back and think about, those young and innocent days. Is pretty cool. So yeah, just think of video creation as something that it just evolves and makes your product experience better. It adds to the total experience that customers experience with your product, and it can be a very powerful part of that. Cool. Yeah, I thought it'd be beneficial too to dive into some video editing tips. By all means, like there are a ton more programs that you can use out there than what I mentioned here, a lot of different variety of things, but these are the things I've become most familiar with as we built out this project. But I use Adobe Premiere to build and edit the videos. I actually use the Adobe Creative Suite as a whole to do a lot of different things. I use Adobe Audition to edit the voiceover sound and any background music that we have. I use Adobe Photoshop to fine tune some of the assets. And then I've dabbled in Adobe After Effects as well, but I do a lot of our animations in Adobe Premiere too. So what I like about using Adobe products is they all play well with one another. So anytime I make an edit within Adobe Photoshop or Adobe Audition or whatever, like it'll update in real time within Adobe Premiere if I save it within that other program. So if I have it within a file that I'm building in Adobe Premiere, like it'll automatically like change that once I save it in the other programs. So that's really cool. That's why I like using all those Adobe products together at the same time. And then Catherine mentioned earlier about Wistia, but yeah, they've been great. We use them to record our screen. There's actually a Chrome extension that we use that's a screen recorder. And so that's how I record the UI within our app as I'm recording like the screen steps for a step-by-step instructional video or something like that. So I use the Soapbox Chrome extension is what it's called. It's from Wistia. And then we also use them for those raw file storages and like the view stream that I talked about earlier. So I'm living within Wistia pretty much all day long. It's been really fun to develop a relationship with that company too. They're super helpful. So that's been a lot of fun. Just know too, as a UX writer with video creation, you have so much to offer because I found there's so many parallels between like when I'm building a video and like when I'm working within like Figma wireframes for a user flow or something. Like you have the same goals in mind. You want to help a user feel empowered and achieve something within your app. You want to be concise and helpful, but you also want to have them feel good about what they're doing or delight them every now and then. So I find a lot of those same parallels in video creation as when I'm just being a writer and working within Figma. So I think that's pretty cool, and know that you have so much to offer for video creation because of your eyes as a UX writer and what being a good UX content professional. And so, and just use this as a peace of mind as well. Like 2 years ago, I didn't know anything about this stuff. I was, a journalist. I wrote long form stories. I reported things. I did not know much about video editing, sound editing, or any of this. But like I said, with that one job where I started working on Facebook shows, like I found out it was really cool and fun to do all this stuff. And you can be creative and, design things and make things look good. So, if you find that you spark an interest in this, like run with it, have so much fun with it. There are so many possibilities out there, so many different programs, take a class. You'll definitely learn a lot of things just from the introduction to Adobe Premiere. That's what I did when we first started this video project. Catherine was really helpful in encouraging me to find a Premiere class. And so I think it was like a 2-day long thing where I went out and just spent the workday for 2 days being part of this introduction to Adobe Premiere class. So I picked up some tips and tricks that way, and then just continue to practice. I play with things a lot when I'm just editing. I'm wondering, like, what does this do? Or would this look cool or something like that? A recent example I shared is that we had this like internal challenge with videos that we've done over the summer. Like different teams within our company did a different video just to like highlight their teams, and the product managers asked me to create a video for theirs. I tried a bunch of weird things, like cool, like different crops and putting different animations in that I've never done before. And it was just like an internal thing, so I didn't care if it was too off the wall or crazy. But what happened then, the week after, I started work on like a video for a product introduction, like a product launch. I used some of the same editing techniques I did from that product manager video for the product launch video that went out in our app a few weeks ago. So you'll never know where you discover something cool within editing unless you try and just spend time within the software and experimenting and pushing the boundaries of your knowledge. So I just encourage you to do that. Like start small, practice, soak up as much knowledge as you can, and just have fun. I love doing this stuff. I have fun. I hope it shows in the work too. So I'm eager to learn more along the way for sure. And another thing that I love about video creation too within our company is it allows me to just think big about what I can be here at this company and like what I can do as a UX writer. And I think it's cool to think about videos at creating value for your company. As a UX writer, even if you don't make them yourself, you can help with creating scripts or pitching the idea of video creation to your company as something that can help with the UX writing presence at your company, or just UX content creation. I think video overall within like UX content teams is something that's fairly untapped, but could be a bigger thing within the industry. So I would really encourage people out there who have any interest in this at all to maybe explore that and to create more value for your company by pitching an idea of creating more videos to help customers either on your support sites or within your app when you're introducing new products or features or something like that. That's something that the UX content team can definitely own, like we have here. And so I definitely push you to do that if you have any interest in that at all. Also, you can learn like so many different pieces of software, and that's awesome. You should do that. But I always encourage people to analyze why you think a video succeeds. I definitely have favorites out there, different companies that have cool like product videos that introduce something related to a feature or things of that nature. And you right away whether it grabs you and if it just resonates with you. And that's my goal whenever I create video. I just want it to be like a good experience that makes people feel like I want to do something great with this company. So yeah, definitely analyze why something makes you feel good. And I feel like that's something we do as UX writers anyway when we look at copy within an app. Like, I see a lot of examples online of people posting things like, this is a cool way to put this, or a great CTA here or something. It's the same thing with video creation. You should analyze why something makes you feel that way, and then you definitely learn things along the way, and then you can try that yourself. And so like I mentioned earlier too, just with video creation, you can expand your perspective of what a UX writing professional can be. not 10 years ago, but maybe 3 years ago, I didn't think I could ever do this. Or definitely when I first started my job here, I didn't think I'd ever be doing this. And so, it's definitely cool when you find a situation where you can expand your perspective and be like, oh yeah, UX writing has a place for video creation, and you can do this as a UX writing professional. So just thinking big about the possibilities at your company and what you can bring to the table, I think is definitely beneficial for your career and for your company too. You can definitely help your company a lot of different ways through video creation.
Cool. That's it for us. I'm not 100% sure, maybe Yuval can answer this question for us. If the slide deck is going to be sent to participants today, we do have resources for all of our stats and everything that we use to kind of get the ball rolling with video and UX, all here on the last slide. If y'all want to learn more.
Yeah, we usually send the recording approximately around 1 week after the session, and we can definitely add the slides if you approve it. Of course, we would love to share them as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. That was extremely interesting. And by the way, I need you to let me to open my video because I'm not the host anymore.
Oh, okay, cool.
Let's see. I have a few questions, and I see that more people have also interesting questions over here.
Okay, Yuval, I just switched you back over to the host.
Yes, I'm
There we
here.
go. Hi.
Hey. Cool. All right. The first thing I would like to ask is about the actual process of creating the video. So you answered one of my questions about technically how to edit them, but I would love to ask about the structuring, for example, of the script, and how do you write the actual script, and how even before that you decide on the user journey where exactly to put that video. And I will ask the second questions afterwards.
Cool. Do you want to take that, Andrew, or you want me to take it?
Oh, yeah, I can jump in. Yeah,
Okay.
well, Catherine created our support site pretty much and did a lot of the support articles that we have there. So when I make a script, like I'll pretty much like just put in the step-by-step instructions that are within that support article. So the video will end up being a visual representation of what that support article is. So when it comes to the support video, that's what I try to do there, is just try to follow what the support doc says, and then just kind of like put different, visuals and things of that nature, dress it up as a video presentation. But the meat of those videos are just what our support documents say. So that's kind of the goal with those. With some of the other ones, the more like surface level conceptual things like product launches, we'll use some of the language on the marketing site that we used before when talking about things, or I'll definitely use some support documentation knowledge there with some language. So I think that takes a little more back and forth. Like I'll work with Catherine or someone else on our team who's writing the script. So it'll be like a collaborative effort on scripts that way. And then we'll loop in maybe marketing if marketing's involved too. So like a content marketing manager, product marketing manager, we'll just work with them to create something and then film it. So yeah, I think there's a lot of collaboration just involved with everything, which is great. But as far as like support videos go, those will live within the support docs themselves and just be visual representations of what the step-by-step instructions say.
Yeah, and I like too, like as far as script writing goes, I think it will be different for the company that you work within. But I also like what has worked for us is thinking about like the modular content, applying that concept to scripts. So we think about like starting your video with, your blurb about like what this is, and like if you need to know any pricing, like are you on the right plan for this? It's not an opportunity to upsell them into something, but it is an opportunity to talk about costs because that can be prohibitive for some people. So we look at like, what do they need to know up front? You need X, Y, and Z in order to do this. And then you have your like the meat of your video, which is like the scripted, the meat of your video, which is actually explaining like what we're talking about. And that can be like the step-by-step instructions, or like, hey, we have a new feature and it's over here now, not over here, and then the end of the video, that third chunk of the script is like, if you need help, we're over here. Go to support.callrail.com, submit a ticket to our support team. We'd be happy to talk to you more about this. So we have, those things, creating them modularly allows us to not only like, okay, we need our pricing information, we need our step-by-steps, and we need our outro, like at the very basic of all of this, right? But it also allows Andrew, like when our support site had a redesign and it looked totally different, all he had to do was edit that third piece of all of our videos. And just show the new support site instead of like having to redo everything from the beginning.
Very cool. I love the fact that you had some kind of a call to action by the end of the video, asking them to perform some kind of an action to call support or upsell if possible. That's a pretty great idea in my opinion. And okay, so we have an anonymous attendee that asked a question and that's related to your answer and also to another question that I had, so I'll just ask it. So I was part of the team that created loads of instructional videos, but shortly after releasing them, a bunch of new features were released that made most of the videos out of date. I wonder if this a common scenario, and if we could have done anything to avoid this the situation. So that's a great question, and I love it. And I will add a question on top of that, and we'll ask, how much time does it take to create a single video?
Do you want to jump in on that, Catherine, the first
Yeah,
part?
I would love to. So I will say that that has always been a struggle for us. As Andrew's manager, I have had to be very careful about how much time I allot for like other projects for him. Because we do, like, if any time like a major change happens in our UI or we release something, we do have to go back and update videos. So doing that, like modularizing your video content, I think that is kind of like the quickest way. And I use quickest very lightly because I don't think it is the quickest thing, but it will help you like we don't have to re-record Rebecca's intro every single time. And we also don't need to use Rebecca's time, every single time that our UI changes. So if we release something, what Andrew ends up doing is, I have to come in, I have to protect his time, and make sure that he is not being like working on a UX writing project and then also being responsible for updating 70 videos right now, So it does take time. You have to advocate for that time though, and I think it's like, that is like totally something that you should like advocate for yourself, is like, I need the time to do this because I want to do it well, because it helps our customers self-serve. And if you can just like identify like the one little spot in your video where like things are changing and you're like, all I have to worry about is like between minute 2 and minute 3 and just fixing this one piece, it will save you so much time. Unfortunately, I don't think that if your company is growing and shipping new products constantly, that that's kind of like part of the game there, is that you have to continually keep your videos updated. Right. So I would just recommend like modularizing that, so you only have to update very specific pieces instead.
But even if it's like 1 minute, it still means that Andrew needs to manually go to each single video out of those 70, update them on Premiere, export them, and then upload them to Whimsy.
Yeah,
so exactly.
The biggest example of this is like we introduced a new global nav, like a new left side nav in our software late last year, and it changed like the instructional things on a lot of videos. Like, exactly. So it took me a few weeks to change everything, and the expectation was like, this is going to take time. So that's the most extreme example of this. The other stuff is fairly easy, like, quick. Record something in a 1-minute clip or something and put it up on Premiere and then Wistia, and that doesn't take too much time at all. So that's the normal, just like editing things like you would a support doc or something, so that just happens. But yeah, if you have a major change with your navigation or something, like that affects these support videos quite a bit. So you do manually have to go in and change everything. There's just no way around that. Yeah.
All right, that's pretty awesome that you've been doing that. That sounds.
Some days it's awesome. Some days it's not, but
it's awesome when it's done.
Especially the day after that. Right? Good job, amazing. Do you have any tips on how to make stakeholders see the importance and value of copy in video creation?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, that's a really good one. I'll just speak from my perspective at first. I think like doing the work and like showing the work, especially the showing the work part throughout your company, is important. And Catherine was great about advocating for that. Like she would drop little Slack messages, hey, you should put this in our product catch-up channel, which is like a company-wide product announcement channel in Slack for us. She's like, you should put this new video in here. So I think like I spent a lot of time in the first 6 or 7 months when I was building this out pretty quickly, where I'd have a bunch of different videos at a time. I would post within our company Slack channel there about like, hey, here's our newest videos, you should check them out. And this is happening. Like we have like 10 more videos this quarter or something, so it's like, I was advocating for this project and for our team too, and what we were doing. And so over time, I think it definitely got a buy-in from the PMs, the product managers here. Like I work with a lot of different product managers to create video needs within our app, especially on product launches or a new feature launch or something like that. So I think if you just create something good that people are proud to look at and be a part of, have your company attached to it, I think that speaks for itself. And over time, it'll become a more embraced part of the product development process.
Yeah, and I think like from my perspective, like what I try to do, I have, leadership meetings every single month. And because I have Andrew on my team, I make sure like I have a very specific section when I'm going through like what my team is working on and the important metrics that that I am responsible for. I always talk about video. Like it like if you are talking like video is a part of your process, and this is what I found in a lot of cases, like that confidence of just walking in and being like, we own this, we do this, here are our numbers, it makes an impact. You can see how customers are able to self-serve more. And you're looking at like support tickets going down, but engagement in video is going up, so you can kind of like showcase like, hey, you see like our support team isn't answering as many questions anymore. Do you think that's because of video? And they're like, oh yeah, of course. So advocating for that and showing the impact. And I always push people on my team. Like if you see a conversation happening and you know that you worked on something that, impacts that and drove that like awesome experience for somebody, share that and share what you did and just keep sharing and keep talking about it and advocate for yourself and advocate for your work.
Amazing. So, by the way, if we have people here in the audience that are freelancers, and so I think it would be a pretty awesome idea to offer your clients just the option to do some kind of a UX video that will help to create better user experience for the product. And it might sound overwhelming, to start and to do a Premiere course and edit. But to be honest, I'm using videos too, and I'm the worst editor. And I actually don't edit them because I use them as like raw videos. Of course, I don't put them in my digital products, but for example, I use them for sales. So someone asked me a question, so I answer that question in a video, and it feels very personal, and it takes me less time that it will take me to write the answer. So videos is a great way to do that kind of stuff. I use also a plugin from Chrome called Loom.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh, yep, I know who you're talking about.
It's a really cool one. And just start using videos, offer your clients the option to do some kind of video. I'm pretty sure that the next person that is going to create some kind of a instructional video agency is going to have many clients.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, definitely. It's a big need out there, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's a big need, but people don't even understand how big that need is until they actually feel like less clients talking to their customer support because they have the videos.
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty cool. Amazing. All right. I've heard that most people don't watch videos longer than 2 minutes, but I noticed that your videos have timestamp anchors that help users skip right to a segment they need. I'm pretty sure it's like a default by Vistia, right?
At chapter mode, you can turn those on.
Pretty cool. Does that help combat the intimidating length issues? Or have you noticed any differences in engagement rates based on length?
That's a really good question. I think the longer it is, the less engagement percentage will be. Especially with sport videos, like we find that people will actually just sometimes even just use their cursor and go through the video, like fast forward until they find the part of the app that they want to see within the step-by-step instructions. So like I'll see that a lot where you won't see any engagement for the beginning part of the video, but then a little bit with whatever step they needed help on in particular, because most times people don't need like all the steps. They just have a question about one step or something, or need to find a button or something. So they'll go to that particular part of the video to find it. So, but yeah, we do have those chapter things within our videos that help people go to a particular section that they need. I try to keep things down definitely below 5. I'd like to keep everything below 3 if I could, but sometimes when we're talking about a topic, it's just not possible. So I use those chapters as a way to kind of combat that length issue. But I find a lot of times people just won't even click on the chapters. They'll just like fast forward themselves with a little cursor through the video and find particular things. Yeah, exactly. You'd be surprised. I thought people like click on the chapters a lot. I still have them there in case they need them, but I find a lot of people don't click on those and they just scrub through the video and find the spot that they need.
I feel like the metrics that you can get through video is so much more informative than any other metrics. That's pretty
Yeah,
good.
no, it's fascinating. It's so much fun to see what people watch and where they rewatch things, especially, so I nerd out about that stuff. I love it. Yeah.
I just noticed that I think it's kind of new that in YouTube you have those chapters too.
Oh, cool. Yeah,
I think so.
definitely. Yeah,
And
that's
another
awesome.
option to host videos, and I use it myself, is to upload it to YouTube and then put it as unlisted video. So
Oh, cool.
people can't reach out to this video unless it's from your iframe or from your personal link. Then you can just host it in your web page in a frame or whatever you want.
Nice.
So if anyone wants to host a video, so that one is an option too, and that one is a free option. But you're probably going to have less metrics than with the Andrew's platform. Talking about metrics, so do you use metrics to modify or inspire new content?
Oh, that's a really good question. Yeah, I would say I definitely use metrics to break things out. I think that's in a way creating new content. We found out within our getting started, like overview video of our product, that a lot of people were watching, creating the tracking number part, which is a big part of our app and user experience. So I just made a create tracking number video based on people rewatching that one part of our getting started video. And that create tracking number video is one of our most popular videos month after month. So I used the metrics to see what was being watched within that overview video. I saw a lot of people were rewatching that particular part, and I was like, okay, that could be it's a video on its own then. So I just like cut out that particular part of our overview video, created a new file within Premiere with just that part, and just put our beginning and ending on it, and uploaded it. So that was an example. I think the most successful example of something where I studied the metrics, saw a need, and then uploaded something new. Yeah.
Amazing. This is smart in so many ways. So people are talking all the time about how to test copy, how to test your content, and suddenly you can actually have a real overview of what people care about, and then you can just expand on that. Amazing. Thank you. Let's take two more questions, and that's about it, because I seem to have many questions here. All right. So how would you describe the difference between three ways of writing in video? One, for solely audio in comparison to audio plus visual, and audio from a person who is speaking.
Oh, I don't know if I completely understand. Is it based on the goal of
So basically, from my understanding, there is three type of videos here. One is just like with your sales representative. Her name was Rebecca, right?
Oh, Rebecca, yeah.
So we have a person that is speaking. That's one. The other one is just like audio and visual. So I think like someone speaking.
Oh, yeah.
I assume it's about. I see that Katrin is.
Oh, yeah, I see. Yeah. Oh, how do you adapt to those? Oh, yeah. Just using the example of this time during COVID where I couldn't record Rebecca and just use that audio only example. Like it was still the same approach, actually. We still had the same form of all our scripts, same kind of beginning, middle, end storytelling sections, things like that. And then I just created that different animation at the beginning. So there really wasn't much difference there. We were lucky where Rebecca actually has like a recording area set up within where she lives right now, where she has a pretty good microphone. She's able to email me then the sound file and bring it over. So there wasn't much change on my end at all as far as like thinking about the script and what it should say or things of that nature, compared to having like someone on the screen talking and then just like having someone do a voiceover. Yeah.
All right. I see here a question about short videos versus GIFs or GIFs. I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah.
But do you use GIFs in your product?
I don't do a lot of those. I've done maybe a handful, but I know our sales team does it. They actually film those themselves. Sometimes we'll put them in emails or something like that. So recently, like we had a product launch and there was an email campaign, a part of that. And I created one through Adobe Premiere of part of our UI within our demo environment of like how to open this report. And it was introducing this report, this product launch. So anyway, I created that and then sent it over to our marketing person and for use within their email campaign or something like that. So I can do that, but for the most part, I haven't done it, or like the marketing people just do it themselves. Yeah.
Right, and with all those metrics that we have on video, so it doesn't make any sense to do it with GIFs.
They're really fast. Yeah.
I'm sorry to cut you off, Catherine. Were you about to say something?
No, you're fine. I was just gonna say also, like, I think that we have opportunity with GIF. Like, I think that like that is totally something that I've thought about that we should do. And like, I think that an application is like the best place to put a GIF. You know, you don't need sound. You don't need to like pay attention for it for too long. That's another one of those like great examples of like hopping in at the right time, showing them something really quick, and then getting out of their way.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. So last question, and I'm pretty sure we answered part of it with the soapbox example, but Hannah is asking, my company will be launching a product in the next 6 months, and I think product videos would be super helpful. What camera equipment do you use to get started?
Yeah, like what Catherine showed earlier, that soapbox setup, I think it's called the Wistia soapbox. They come with a camera. It's a Sony A6000, so it's super easy to
I have one of these.
Oh, you did? Nice. Yeah, that's what we use to film everything. And then it comes with a little light too, so you can add some extra light to whoever's talking, and it'll just sit on top of any desk. Super easy, convenient, you can carry it around really easily. It's not too heavy. And so that's the setup we use with every filmed video that we have. Like I said, during this COVID time, we haven't been able to use it too much. We've just been doing like recordings that people email me their voiceovers, and I put it in Adobe Premiere. But yeah, do you remember, is there anything else included? It comes with a microphone too, right, Catherine?
Yeah.
Setup.
Wistia actually has 2 setups that they advertise on their website. So they've created like 2 lists for these 2 kits. And one of them is a little bit cheaper than the other. So we went with like the mid-range kit, which I think was about like $1,100. But it came with that like soapbox station that we like screwed everything down into. It has the camera, the light pane, and then a microphone. The other kit that they have, which is a little bit cheaper, has the soapbox station, and it's a different camera with a built-in microphone and light, I think, if I remember correctly. But they have both of those kits with all of the components of the kits on their blog. And when Yuval shares these slides with you, I linked it in the resource slide as well. So you'll have that link there too.
Amazing. So smart that they do these boxes, and then they have this product, and then it's like, they really know their users. That's cool.
Yeah, they're awesome.
And my personal question. So I have my camera, you just reminded me, and I am frightened to do videos. You know, I have like I'm seeing myself on video and I'm getting cringy. And I want to create instructional video. I want to help people. I know it will help me to get more exposure to more audiences, and it will help more people. So what can I do with that feeling, or I don't have anything to do with it?
Oh, that's a great question. I don't appear in our videos myself, so I let Rebecca handle it. She was a theater major actually, so she was used to performing and things like that. So nice. I used to do some TV work though, and in previous jobs, and I would get nervous before going on camera. I think that's totally human, but if you just view it as having a conversation with somebody, especially if you're just across a desk from someone talking, or if it's yourself, like just view the camera as like someone, like an acquaintance that you're talking to, or a friend that you just met or something like that. It just try to humanize it as much as possible. There's that humanizing thing we were talking about again, but it's just good to kind of make it as less intimidating as you can. It just comes with practice too, and it is still kind of weird to like after you record it to like see yourself on screen sometimes, and maybe you'll overthink things a little, but everyone sounds better than they think they will before they do it, and you look better than you think you'll look, and things like that. Just don't become petrified by those feelings at all.
Yeah. And I want to add too, I can't remember the numbers around this, but a couple years ago we were redesigning our support site, and I think it was Basecamp. They talked about how they put their team members on the page, like their actual faces were on the page where people submitted a ticket to their team, and they saw like customer sentiment like increase. Like people were happier knowing like, hey, these are the people who are going to work on this problem and troubleshoot with me. And I kind of carried that principle over into video too. Like even like Rebecca is in sales and she's not 100% a part of our process 24/7, but look at how people have like gravitated towards her and like putting her in there. And now when she's like doing her normal job in sales, people are like, oh my God, you're the girl from the video, you know, and they spend more time talking to her because they recognize her, you know, so it really is like delighting up front, you know, and it's cool.
I get it from the podcast a lot when people reach out and then the conversation is like we already kind of know each other because they listen to the podcast, and I'm always surprised by it. So it's really
awesome.
It's really cool.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So thank you so much, Andrew, Catherine. It was amazing. I learned
thank you.
A ton. And I'm sure that everyone learned a ton as well. I would love, by the way, for feedback. So I'm just putting here a feedback form from everyone, And yeah, I think that's about it. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, it was so much fun. Thanks a lot. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. And bye, guys. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Have a good one.
Have a good one.
Please help us with the feedback form. It's extremely helpful. And don't forget to sign to our newsletter. We have a weekly newsletter, and we update about our events and more cool stuff related to UX writing. And if you have any questions, let us know. I'm going to send the recording next week with the presentation. And by the way, Andrew and Catherine, please add to the presentation links to your LinkedIn so people could add you and reach out if they have any more questions. I'm sure there are some people that are going to reach out. And that's about it. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Bye.
Appreciate it. Have a good one.
Ciao.